The only problem with the bar was Floyd.
Floyd had a lot of demons. He was a sniper in Vietnam, in the Green Berets. He got shot, and he got released from service. A lot of the Grim Reapers were Vietnam vets. Vietnam really screwed his head up. But the demons wouldn't come out unless he drank and somebody mentioned the war. But anytime he was drinking and then the war stuff started, I was the one that got beat up.
If he started drinking hard liquor, then, you know, you never knew what was going to happen. But usually it was Lori that bore the brunt of it. You know, one minute you might all be partying, the next minute, you know, he's dragging her out the door by the hair.
He backhanded her one time. My eyes just got about that big around, but what am I going to do? You know, he ripped me in half.
We just did our best to try to keep Floyd in line. We would cube him with some meth, put some in his drink, and then he wouldn't be drunk, and he'd just start talking more, and it was kind of like the instant cure, you know, for Floyd.
I was home with Josh, and I got a call from Scotty Inman telling me that Floyd was drinking whiskey. He's heading home drunk and pissed off. And he just walked in and he said, "How many do you want?" And I'm like, how many what? He goes, "Bullets." So he storms into the other room where his guns were. And when he did, I grabbed Josh and headed out the door. And I went around my car to get in the driver's side, and Floyd appeared up on the deck with his rifle. He's shot, and it hit the hood of the car. So I ducked down with Josh behind the fender well, and he shot again. I started yelling, oh my God, you hit Josh, you hit Josh. And he stopped shooting. And when he stopped, I just took off. I just ran. Josh was young. He didn't talk that much. It's hard to make sense out of something like that.
And she came over the next day, and she was hiding from him, and so we were both scared. You know, there's very few times I've seen Lori cry.
I don't know if it was stubbornness. I don't know if it was just the abuse wife syndrome thing, because a lot of wives don't leave the abusive husband, or if he was just, I felt sorry for him. When he was sorry the next day, he didn't remember. He needed me there, you know, to take care of him. It wasn't like an everyday thing or every week or anything like that. But when it was either shooting at me, trying to run me over in a car. It's just something that snapped in him. So, can't understand it. In describing her abuse, her effect was flat. She stated, "I don't get mad at people. I don't let things get to me. This is a typical response of a post-traumatic stress and battered wife syndrome, where individuals can experience a disconnectedness and a depersonalization and psychological numbing."
You think you were psychologically numb?
Yes. Yeah. I block things out. I keep things inside. In not attempting to escape, she also participated in anything that would help her relationship be calm and sedate without the beatings. I didn't want Floyd involved in the bar, so I had to find something that he liked, but also stay out of my way. So I went looking for a ranch, because he always wanted horses. We are at my ranch in Toma, Iowa. I bought this place in 1988. I paid $55,000. It's a beautiful area. It's 150 acres. I surprised Floyd with it because he didn't know about it until I already purchased it. So I came out here and showed it to him, and it's, we call it Rolling Hills Ranch because of the rolling hills. We use our meth money to buy everything, obviously.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We started with 2 horses. We ended up with 52. We were racing and training them. Hired Scott Inman to do most of the grunt work because he was really good and he was a hard worker. And he loved the horses.
Floyd says, "Can you do a duck walk?" And I says, "What do you mean do a duck walk?" He says, "I'm looking for somebody to train my horses." He says, "But I can't do it because I'm too big and I'm too old." So he had me duck walking, which is where you squat down on your knees or by your knees and squat walk. Just build up your knees. I did that for so long.
I built that barn right there so Scott could put the race horses in nice, clean stalls.
Well, all these
Here we
stalls,
go.
all these stalls are empty.
Real stall, I know. Put a lot of money into the race horses, hoping to get money back out. But the more stuff you have, the more it costs you. So it took more money. So I had to keep selling meth. I didn't have time to really reflect on what I was doing or anything. But I was starting to enjoy it. We made 100,000 here, 100,000 there. I would carry around, 20 grand in my purse just for spare change type thing. And people with money, they get more respect than people who don't have it.
The thing that I remember most about Lori is she used to drive around in really flashy cars. And like all young girls would see her in those cars and be like, oh, I want that car.
So I'm driving in the East End. I see this big red Jaguar, and I, whoa! And then here's Lori out there hosing this thing off.
I told her, nobody in this town has a Jaguar.
I said, why don't you get a vanity plate that says, "Bust me,"
I had a little Mazda RX-7, and so, here she come pulled up in that, and I just pull up next to her. I said to her one time, I said, "Oh, Lori, somebody just said that my car looked better than yours." "No, they did not. No way."
We'd just race around town, and we'd race the cops.
She never won. She didn't ever win. I always won them, no.
She cheated. She tried to run me off the damn road.
No, I didn't. I tried. I tried to win, but no, her car was a pretty nice one.
They had everything, just had everything, and I'm living in some dime. To say I wasn't jealous would be a lie, because of course I was. A lot of my friends were on welfare, had little kids. And I thought, well, you know what, I'll get into real estate. If I buy a house pretty cheap, I can fix it up and sell it to my friends on payments. So I started buying houses like at auctions and stuff, and I put them on Section 8 housing. So I was getting government checks for each house, and I was taking that check and using it as a house payment for my friend. So they would own the house once I had what I paid for it. I wanted them to own their own home.
She knew that I just had a baby and asked me if I needed a place to live. And I said, sure, yeah. And she said, well, I got a place that we can remodel and you and your husband and daughter can live there.
And needed a place to stay at one time. And she had just bought this house, so I moved in there.
Lori was always real generous. I mean, she always did a lot of things for all the community.
It was like almost like a Robin Hood scenario, kind of,
All this meth comes in and goes into the rental, housing industry. That goes into licensing, insurance, taxes, Social Security. I mean, all this money I made, I spent in the same town. I bought houses in the same town. I employed people in that town. So money was being spread out. But once you have so much stuff, the bar, the car lot, the ranch, you're paying a lot. it just snowballs, you know. We were needing a lot more quantity. My first 10-pound batch, I had 2 guys go out and get it. The driver liked to smoke pot. So while he was out there, he picked up a pound of pot. He had the 10 pounds of meth in a bag with like hamburger wrappers and stuff on top, trash on top of it. They got stopped on the way back in Utah, some kind of a roadblock check or something. And the dog smelled the marijuana. They opened the trunk, there was pot underneath the spare tire. So then they tore the car apart and found the 10 pounds of meth. They took him to the jail there in Utah. I had to hire a bondsman and come up with $50,000 to get him out of jail and hire a lawyer. They ended up doing 30 days. But then we just thought, okay, well, we got lucky on that one. And that cost us 150 grand right there. Plus, they had 10 pounds of dope in the car and a pound of weed. We lost all the money, so we need to do something to build it back up and not have to travel across the country. That was kind of our turning point right there. We decided to cook our own on our property so we wouldn't have to drive to California, you know, to get it. So I ended up hiring my own chemist to order a whole meth lab out of a catalog. So we got the catalog out, started ordering and everything, and I just ordered it under our SNS Enterprises was my car lot name. They delivered the equipment by UPS. He put it all together, and the lab cost, you know, about 30 grand. And it was all computerized. It was a computerized lab. It was enclosed, had all the test tubes, the Pyrex, everything. We would order P2P, which came in 55-gallon drums from Albuquerque. And that makes the real methamphetamine. That is the Breaking Bad methamphetamine. Well, we went up the hill of our property, and we took the dozer up there and dug out a big hole where we could put the little camper in, so it was covered if anybody flew over.
It wasn't just the bathtub gear that these hillbillies make the meth and get the Sudafed for the drugstore. It was a laboratory down there.
I'd like to sell the best. I wanted the best. It took a chemist 3 days to cook a good batch. Then he would shoot it up to make sure it was a good batch. If it killed him, I didn't want to kill my friends. So that was the deal. And then he'd bring it down when it was done, and he was gone. So, you know, nobody saw him, nobody knew he was there, nobody knew anything about it. Off 10 pounds of meth, we could make $400,000. We could make a couple batches a week, so it was doubling the product. You know, if you drive to California, it takes a week to go out and then come back. Well, now, every 3 days, he'd go up and make more.
Methamphetamine addiction is now an epidemic across the Midwest.
It was once a West Coast problem, manufactured mainly by motorcycle gangs in California.
People have friends everywhere, and it just spread pretty quick. We had a truck driver on call anytime we needed him to haul anything out. And yeah, so I couldn't tell you exactly how many states. It could be in the whole United States.
If you had to locate ground zero in the explosive use of a killer drug called methamphetamine, would you name the state of Iowa?
She could buy whatever she wanted. She even had airplanes. You know, she had ultralights. It was just crazy.
If you went there, you might as well be planning on staying 2 or 3, 4 days, partying just every day, all night long. I mean, there was no holding back.